Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now, as you can probably tell by my sunburnt face, I've just got back from holiday and that means I don't have any new hardware to test today. But while I was in the airport, I read up on a company that sounded very interesting. A company that back in the early 2000s caused quite a stir in the world of pre-built PCs and weren't without their fair share of controversy. And today I want to document that company in a mini retrospective video because I think their business practices and ideas were very interesting to say the least. So without further ado, in what is a slightly different video, let's get into it and talk about GoL computers. Now, if you were keen on building yourself a custom gaming rig capable of tackling any modern game with ease in mid-2003, then you may have followed a build guide such as this one over at the Puget Systems website. The combination of a 3.2 GHz Pentium 4 Nvidia GeForce FX 5900 Ultra and 1 GB of DDR RAM inside your case would have surely made you the envy of your PC gaming buddies. But why spend a couple of $1,000s when you could spend $26,000 on this behemoth? Which of course came bundled with a modest 96-inch 6400 by 1200 display. This was the innovation of a company known as GoL, founded by a mysterious entity named Miguel Lieberman. Now, it's said that Mr. Lieberman was fed up with the slow speeds of his laptop that couldn't offer the processing power required for him to finish editing a Coca-Cola ad using Adobe Premiere. This could be plausible. After all, there is a profile on IMDb for a cinematographer who shares the same name, though his filmography is limited to a single, questionable sounding short film. Now, GoL, or Lieberman Incorporated, operated out of California and offered products based on hardware that wasn't commercially available and technology that was unheard of. Take the Mac L Gold for example, the specs of which, as well as others, can still be found on the site Dreamers Wanted. This isn't the original site, merely just a mirror hosted within a portfolio. The original site itself is just a mess of redirections and false security prompts these days. Anyway, this machine featured an overclocked 4.5 GHz Pentium 4, 5TB of storage, and a pure RAM solid-state flash drive, which could store the operating system and make a traditional hard drive completely unnecessary. All configurable options, of course. So let's say back in 2003 or 2004 you're still in two minds about these computers. Some people are saying it's an elaborate hoax and some are adding one of these machines to their Christmas list. Well, to add fuel to the fire that would have been caused by something like an overclocked 4.5 GHz Pentium 4 for example, Maximum PC actually got hold of a prototype unit after they had received tons of reader requests for them to check out one of these systems. Unsurprisingly, the build that turned up lacked some of the promised features, but the magazine did say it was impressively spec'd nonetheless. It arrived with a 3.2 GHz Pentium 4, overclocked to 3.8 GHz and apparently chilled to minus 20 degrees Celsius, 1 GB of OCZ memory and an ATI Radeon 9800 XT graphics card. Laugh as much as you want as your Core i5 or Ryzen 7 system purrs away under your desk, but back in January 2004, these components were top notch. And more importantly, the Mac L was real. Sure, it lacked a lot of the promised tech and suffered from horrific cable management, but this $6,000 box had finally been seen in the flesh. After testing it out, it seemed to do very well, though that didn't stop Maximum PC ending their article on a very speculative note. After all, who knew when these systems were going to make it to retail so that the everyday consumer could enjoy their performance? If they could afford one, of course. Furthermore, remember that huge monitor I spoke of at the start, the 96-inch one with an eye-watering resolution? Well, don't ask me how I know this, but if you've watched Sex and the City, Season 6 to be precise, then you might remember a certain character by the name of Alexander Petrovsky, a wealthy artist. Now, look closely at the background of his apartment. What do we see, I hear you ask? Well, could it be the L Computer's infamous Grand Canyon multi-display monitor? All 96 inches of it. Considering Mr. Lieberman's apparent connection to the world of film and entertainment, is it really a surprise that his products finally popped up somewhere? Well, to the skeptics, yes. Because this still wasn't convincing enough. Because of this, the company eventually folded in October of 2004, with its closure ironically being reported in another issue of Maximum PC that December. Goel cited financial issues and its unshakable controversial reputation for the closure. But did they actually sell anything? Well, I managed to find a couple of reviews for their products, one of which favourable, and Maximum PC themselves only heard from one apparent owner after putting out a request for customer testimonials. Others say they inquired about ordering but couldn't contact anyone. I guess these high-tech machines were too good to be true. But wait, there's more. In 2005, the company's assets were bought by a Canadian firm, and once again we started seeing product pages for top-end hardware, this time in the form of laptops. This quad-core model, advertised before quad-core CPUs were even available, promised a whopping 24-hour battery life. Now I don't know about you, but I still haven't found a laptop that lasts more than 5 or 6 hours with moderate usage, even ones with low-powered potato specs. Here's where things get a little more dodgy though. After being acquired by the aforementioned Canadian firm, L Computers, under its new name, was scrutinised for fraudulent investor activity. This was a result of the Canadian company's involvement in other questionable practices, and it seems the original computer company was purely a victim of this occurrence. A final letter was then issued by the apparent Mr. Lieberman in 2007, stating the end of operation, thanks to lack of funds and an even more tarnished reputation. If you think about it, this was a company that in its infancy was promising solid-state drives for laptops and desktops alike, a practice that is commonplace today. Maybe they were just dreamers, but if Goel Computers were serious about their plan and maybe started smaller to get the ball rolling, who knows where they'd be today? Maybe they'd be one of the biggest players on the market. So with all that said, I hope you've enjoyed this mini retrospective of a company that had a very mixed reputation and a lot of speculation surrounding it. I know this video's been a little bit different, but I just found this topic too interesting not to cover. So if you enjoyed it, leave a like on it, leave a dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hopefully I'll see all of you in the next one, where we will be taking a look at some more hardware.